Before we start the discussion, I want you to think about breathing. What makes the air breathable? We need oxygen in the air. But if the air is all oxygen, we would die. The oxygen has to be mixed with nitrogen and all other gases. And it should be in the right pressure and temperature in order to deliver the amount of O2 that you need. The air that we breathe is a solution. In chemistry, solution is a homogeneous mixture composed of two or more substances. Solution is made when one substance called the solute dissolves in another substance called the solvent. Solute is a substance that can be dissolved by a solvent. It comes in many forms. It can be a gas, a solid, or a liquid. Solvent is the substance that dissolve the solute, break the solutes apart, and distribute the solute molecules equally. Solvation is a process of dissolving substance in a solution. It is the mixing process of a solution where the effects of chemical polarity is involved. So what's solvent in the air? Whatever there's more of. So nitrogen is the solvent, and oxygen, argon, and other gases that dissolves in it are the solute. All the solutions have the qualities that they do because of the same three properties: molecular structure, pressure, and temperature. These are the factors that affect solubility, which we will be discussing in Lesson 7. When we think about the air we breathe, the soda, the seawater, what really matters in the solution is how much solute is in it. It falls from the sky, makes up of about 60% of our body, and about almost all the chemical processes takes place with it or in it. Water is the key to nearly everything. And one of the reasons why it is the key is because it is really good in dissolving stuff. We need it so bad that we dump about 150 gallons of it in our body every year. And we do that in order to maintain an aqueous or water-based solution inside our body. Hydrogen peroxide is a solution that contains hydrogen and oxygen just like water. A solution of liquid with other substance dissolved in it. Here, water is the liquid or solvent, and hydrogen peroxide is the solute. And water is an amazing solvent. Why? It is because water is polar. It is a very polar molecule. Oxygen atoms are more electronegative than hydrogen atoms. The oxygen atoms pulls harder on the electrons than the hydrogen does. As a result, the electrons on the water molecules spend most of its time near the oxygen molecules. The electron on the water molecules spend most of its time near the oxygen, giving the oxygen a partial negative charge and the hydrogen a partial positive charge. This polarity makes water extremely effective in dissolving things, especially other polar things. When you mix a polar solid like salt in a polar liquid like water, the molecules of the water surrounds the molecule of the salt. The negative side of the water molecules is attracted to the positive side of the salt molecule, and vice versa. In interacting with the salt molecules, the water inserts itself between all the individual molecules of the salt that were once close together in a salt crystal. It is a water-based solution, which I called earlier aqueous solution. Remember, aqueous solution. The water does not dissolve non-ionic, non-polar substances. Take oil for instance. It doesn't have any polarity, so it has no interest in interacting with water. If you try to mix them, they separate. Solution is a homogeneous mixture of one or more substances. Suspension is a heterogeneous mixture of undissolved particles in a given medium. For example, the mixture of sand and water. If we leave the mixture of sand and water for some time, sand settles at the bottom, and a clear layer of water appears at the top. Other examples are oil in water and dust particles in the air. Just remember, suspension is a heterogeneous mixture where particles are large enough and can be seen through our naked eye. Colloid, on the other hand, is the intermediate state between the solution and the suspension. Examples are butter, jelly, and ink. All these colloid particles are small and suspended through a medium. The particles of the colloid will not settle or separate. So those are the properties of the solution, the comparison between the solution, suspension, and colloid. Have you learned something new today? What's your takeout for today's lesson?